Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo has filed a bill to make grades 11 and 12 optional for those who want to go to college. The proposed measure would replace the current K-12 curriculum to K plus 10 plus 2.
Sabi natin, yung mga graduate ng K-12, kahit di na sila magkolehiyo, magkakaroon sila ng oportunidad makapagtrabaho. Ngayon, marami pa rin hindi tumatanggap ng hindi college graduate.
Amid the sweltering heat, the government is now studying proposals to bring back the academic break to the months of April and May.
We have to balance, no? We also have to think about yung kalusugan ng ating mga learners.
One of the sectors that bore and is still bearing the brunt of the pandemic is education. And as we come out of a global health emergency, what are the challenges coming to fore, especially for the country's basic education system? We flesh this out in this episode of The Chiefs. And welcome to the Monday edition of The Chiefs. I'm Ed Lingao. With me tonight in the studio, Ana Marie Pamintuan, the editor-in-chief of the Philippine Star, and of course, Lucy Cruz Valdez, the head of News 5. Chiefs, happy Monday.
Good evening.
So, what's up this week?
Well, mukhang matatapos na tong dry. Well, the hot and humid
Bisa na nga
season.
mag-uulan, di ba?
Kaya pinag-uusapan na ngayon kung pwede nga ibalik na sa dati yung academic calendar.
Academic calendar.
Yes.
Oh, tanda ko ng kabataan natin. Kabataan pala ninyo.
Kabataan mo.
Ay, magsalita ka.
Summer.
Sa buhok pa lang eh.
Kaya nga eh.
Nagkakasataan. I do remember, dati pag summer, talagang literal summer.
Talagang summer.
Ang summer break,
Oh.
di ba?
Yes.
Tatampis ako sa ilog, patapos yung matuling.
Sabi sa'yo, sa ano niya yun, yung bakasyon niya yun.
Oo, matutulog. Hindi
Tapos,
ka makarelate doon.
first week ng June parati, pasok ka na.
Kaya nga, oo nga. Kaya
Tapos,
nga.
hindi, gusto natin yun kasi pagka panahon ng bagyo, laging nasuspend ang class.
May vested interest pala.
Pero, pag bagyo, hindi nakakapag-enjoy yung mga bata, di ba? That's the point
talaga.
of a break, eh,
Hindi
di
yun
ba?
na nga.
Summer
That's
break.
Why, wala
You
talaga
want to
silang
relax,
summer break. Wala.
Masarap din magtampisaw sa kalsada.
O, ayan, nung panahon niya yan. Malinis pa tubig nun.
Oo
Sa
nga.
kalsada.
pwede ka magtampisaw
Pagbaha, di ba?
nun.
Hindi, pero ngayon nga yan, kaya may proposal na ibalik na ulit sa dati. Pati nga yung K plus 12, di ba? Question na rin ngayon.
Oo, now
And-
pinag-aralan ng K plus 10
Oh,
Yes.
and K plus 10 plus 2.
Oh.
Nung panahon mo rin, pwede ka ma-accelerate, di ba?
Yeah,
From
hindi,
grade
hindi mo
6,
kailangan
hindi
mag-grade
mag-grade
7 kung matalino
Hindi
ka.
acceleration yun.
Acceleration
Merong
yun.
ganon.
That was the norm in a lot of schools.
Hindi,
Actually.
meron.
May schools na
May
7th
acceleration.
grade pero allows for
Ah,
acceleration.
kasi kami, walang grade 7, kaya I was first year high
hindi.
school at 11.
Merong
Yeah.
mga schools na may
Pareho
acceleration.
tayo, ako rin.
Well,
Hanggang
may-
grade 6 lang yung school ko. So, I graduated at age 15 from high
Oo,
school.
yun na, pareho tayo.
Yes, yes.
Oh, mga
Kaya
weird.
Wala namang masama epekto, di ba? Kaya,
Parang
Well,
wala naman.
Bakit
let's not talk about that. Let's not go there.
K-12,
Talaga,
hindi
di
ibig
ba? We
sabihin.
were young
Yeah.
college graduates. We
15,
really
graduate
were.
ako ng high school.
Ako 20.
15
Oo.
high school.
Ay, 20
Ako.
college. Oo.
Akala ko rin wala tayong pag-uusapan ngayon, humaba na
Dami
humaba.
pala.
Okay, we need to
Okay.
take a
Mga
break so we
edad nyo,
can bring
binis
in our
nyo.
guests finally. So we'll bring in our guests after into this discussion right after this break. So keep it here in One News.
And welcome back. Joining us this evening here in the studio, House Committee on Basic Education and Culture Chairman Representative Roman Romulo and Department of Education Deputy Spokesperson Francis Brinas. Good evening, gentlemen, and welcome to the Chiefs.
Good evening.
And my first question
Good evening.
to you, and I expect honesty.
Ako, delikado yan.
How old were you when you graduated from high school?
I have the right to remain silent.
Mas malala sa atin.
Oo, malala, malala. Congressman Romulo kayo.
Yeah, but,
Ako, I
but
graduated
seriously, I
85.
graduated in 1980. No?
At what age?
Um,
High school, ha?
High school?
Oo.
15.
Oh,
Pareho kami.
pareho. What about you, Governor?
Ako, I think 18. Ay,
Bakit?
kasi may prep ako, may grade
Tenista
7 ako.
ka, no?
Yes, yes.
Oo,
Grade 7.
Pero, yun ang argument namin din, di ba? I mean, we all graduated, we all had, what?
Saan ang gusto mong sabihin?
Hindi naman masama kinalabasan.
15 years of formal education. It's not bad.
Well, are we good examples?
So my question really is this. There are so many issues we're grappling with when it comes to education. But nakakatawa that until now, pinag-aawayan pa rin natin yung calendar. No? How serious is this issue of the academic calendar now being changed to what it is for other countries? In other words, we adapted to the international academic calendar. Is that really an issue still?
Well, actually, Lucy, in fairness, the reason for the shift was not because of, before the pandemic,
COVID.
when I was still chairman of higher education, that was an issue. They were asking us to shift the academic calendar so that we would be in line or aligned with international or with other nations. But again, we never did it. We never shifted because of that. The reason why we shifted was because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Napilitan.
Effectively, that was the reason. Because we had to adjust the calendar. Remember, March nag-stop eh. March tayo nag-lockdown.
Right.
Examination period yun eh. Graduation period yun
Okay.
eh. And then after that, we still did not have vaccines at the time. That is why the Senate and the House decided to give the President, via law, that authority to move the academic calendar because we wanted a safe return to school.
So are you saying that was a temporary decision? That now, in effect, ang dami nagmumungkahi na baguhin na ulit at ibalik dun sa dating
Again, the
calendar?
law gives the flexibility to the President to return it to the old academic calendar as long as you do not go beyond August. Maliwanag naman yun sa batas eh. But again, ako ang sinasabi ko sa DepEd, hindi pa pwedeng lumipat lang, mag-shift lang ng calendar just because gusto natin dahil mainit ngayon. Ang importante, sana database, because ang kailangan natin continuity of learning. Pagdating ng bagyo, I think may mga regions tayo, more than 30 days ang suspension of classes. And pagka kinat mo yun, ng 30 days, ang tuloy-tuloy na pag-aaral, affected yung learning na yun eh. So ang sinasabi ko lang, now we will have the data for this April-May. May data na ang DepEd yung tungkol dun sa dating pag may typhoons, pag may baha. So based on that, they should be able to make a decision based on data kung mas maganda pang bumalik na tayo sa April-May. But whatever the decision is, meron talagang challenges yan. And the DPWH, I think, and DepEd should discuss this. Kailangan na nilang ayusin yung pagtayo ng buildings.
Mukhang nasaan tayo ngayon? Are we moving toward reverting?
Towards
Or-
reverting to
Yes,
June.
or staying where we are?
Definitely for the next school year, we cannot do that because we are ending the school year this year by July, first week of July. So definitely June is
At
not.
least
yeah.
not for school year
Not for school year
23-24.
2023-2024. But even given that, we are looking into a slow transition going back to June. Because if you do it abruptly, may mga implications pa rin yan because teachers by law are entitled to the proportional vacation pay. That is the 2
Yes,
months.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
kung bigla tayo mag-shift dyan,
Oo.
aangal ang ating mga teachers, paano yung aming 2 months vacation? Paano yung aming PVP? Unless we have the money to pay them overtime pay. So, we cannot just do it like, because we want to do it like, go back to June next year. We cannot simply do it that way. But we are discussing that in the department and we're looking at the most acceptable option.
But
So
if
you're-
you set aside the issues as to, benefits for teachers, ano talagang academically sound? Should it be the old calendar or this new calendar?
Well, given the extreme weather conditions that we are experiencing now, we have extreme heat during summer, and then during rainy seasons we have flooding as well. So it's just a matter of choosing ano ba yung kaya nating magkaroon ng intervention during typhoon season ba or during summer season. So meron pa ring issues either way.
But conversely, is it possible to divine a pattern at this point? Kasi parang labo-labo na ngayon ng weather patterns. I mean,
Yeah, I
we have
know.
storms
I know,
in
yes.
January, February, even
correct.
December.
It's really
But
unpredictable
Panahon natin
now.
walang ganun.
Yes.
And
So-
we are going towards El Nino now, right? So mag-El Nino pa tayo hanggang September. So even if let's say we open in June and then El Nino is still September,
yes,
so we'll still experience extreme heat from June to September.
Pero syempre talagang mas mainit yung yung March to
Yeah, yeah.
March to
Oh, that we cannot say
before
for
June,
sure.
di ba?
That we cannot say for sure kasi nga pabago-bago na talaga siya. Even during the summer, we experience heavy rains. So
Kasi
Pero no-
tatanungin
no
din natin,
storms,
di ba,
no?
kung
Yeah.
anong dahilan ng summer break eh.
Yeah.
It's really to give people a break, di
Yeah.
ba?
well, traditionally
you
we call
you
it
want people to rest, magkaroon ng mabawasan yung stress, and it's better to go to the beaches pag mainit, di ba?
Oo.
Kaya yun. Eh pag bumabagyo, wala
Wala
kayong
na.
pasok. Anong gagawin mo doon sa bahay? Baha sa labas ng bahay mo.
Doon ka
Di
mag-swimming
ba?
sa kalsada.
May stress ka lang lalo na.
Hindi, mag-TikTok, ano ka ba?
Gusto mong lumabas, gusto mong mamasyal, gusto mong pumunta dun sa bundok siguro, dun sa rice terraces, hindi ka makakilos, you're stuck in your house, di ba?
That should be considered by the DepEd. Pero sa akin at this point, especially coming from the pandemic, talagang yung continuity of learning. We should make sure, kasi talagang may learning loss eh. I mean, that much we all have to agree on that. We agree on that, di ba? So, paano natin hahabulin yun eh? I think there are initial steps now, and I hope ituloy talaga ng DepEd yung reduction of subjects, because that is the key. Pero kailangan, academic calendar, I think, you should choose lang kung ano yung wala masyadong disruption sa klase.
Pero sir, with that in mind, with academic loss in mind, mukhang saan mas advantageous doon sa bago o sa lumang schedule? Kasi my understanding is parang you're looking at going back to the old schedule eh. Did I get it right?
what do you mean June?
Going back to June?
Oh,
Parang-
we are studying the transition to June. It is in the discussion with the department, but to how to do it so that we balance the benefits for teachers as well as
Opo.
benefits
So
for
we're
the
moving
learners.
toward
We're
June
moving.
na.
Not exactly, but we are looking into the best option that we have if we can transition back to
So
June.
academically, it makes more sense talaga to go back to June.
Well,
I mean, everything else aside,
academically.
yung in terms of yung learning,
Well,
learning more.
taking it from what Congressman Romulo is saying on learning loss, kasi kung nasaan ang lesser disruption natin, we would choose that way. Although ang disruption natin ngayon is not really like in the old, and we say suspended ang classes, suspended na walang klase talaga, but we now have shifted to
Remote kasi,
alternative delivery mode. So there are no longer suspension of classes,
Okay.
but simply suspension of face or in-person classes.
Oo.
Yeah.
Pero wala ka pa rin bakasyon pag blended.
Yeah.
Yun na nga, oo nga.
I think that should also be considered definitely by the DepEd later on, yung nababanggit kung kailan rin conducive na makapagpahinga rin yung teacher, pati yung estudyante.
Yes.
But again, I think we have to give him a little more time just to get all the data correct.
Right.
Para, kasi ang hirap yung pabago-bago eh. Kasi lahat talaga may challenges. But I think the public, I think, is more kung
Right.
sundan lang natin yung public opinion, doon
Yeah.
talaga tayo babalik sa old academic calendar. But we should not be swayed easily by that, and we should be able to explain to them bakit tayo bumalik doon. Hindi dahil sa public opinion, but because dito yung less
It has
na
real
magkakaroon
science.
ng disruption.
Well, if
Diba?
we are shifting, best case scenario, what's the timetable? Best case scenario, if we are going to go back to the old calendar.
Okay, if you're going to go back to the old calendar following the gradual transition, we are looking at 5 years.
Wow, ganun
that's
katagal.
the initial study that we have. That's why we're looking for other ways by which we can transition on a faster period. Yeah.
And what would that be? Like
that
school
5
year
years.
what? Yeah.
So that's 5 school years from now.
Oh, golly.
Because we have to comply
Tagal.
with the provisions of the law that we have to meet a minimum number of school days per school year. So we cannot just cut the number of school days because we have like 200 to 220 days. We cannot
It
go
takes
190,
5 years to do that.
If we do slow transition and
Gradual.
considering also the benefits of the teachers, because as I've said earlier, my financial implication, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the quality of education. So ngayon naman, ang pinag-uusapan din ay Yung K plus 12, kung dapat na bang repasuhin yan at baguhin yan. Again, can you explain to us exactly what the DepEd thrust is now as far as the K plus 12 and how the review is coming along?
Okay, so there are two parts here. We have the K-12 curriculum. We have already the revision or the curriculum guides for the K-10. In fact, it's already out in the public for comments until May 15.
Or explain
Yeah,
K to
the
10.
K-10 is a kinder to grade 10 that covers kinder, 6 years of elementary and another 4 years
High school.
for the junior high
Ay,
school.
old.
Parang yung dati.
Exactly.
And then that's a dati. And then we have the senior high school 11 to 12. We have revised K to 10 curriculum, and it's going to be implemented on a phase staggered basis starting 2024-2025.
All right.
Okay, for the 11 and 12, we have just created a national task force to review its implementation. Based on studies by several organizations, including our own study, we have results that would dictate to us that we should study its implementation.
Okay, what were you seeing, or what are you seeing, were the benefits and also the cost or disadvantages of the current K plus 12 that you have to now study shifting to the K plus 10 and then junior, senior?
No, we are not really looking at the deficiencies of the curriculum, but we are looking at the curriculum to become more responsive to the current times. Remember, the K-12 law is 2013, is like almost a decade ago, and the demands of the times are different then. So we really need to make it responsive and remaining relevant to the needs of our community.
Can you be more
Yes.
specific about that, being more responsive
Yeah,
to
being-
what particular changes?
Okay, for example,
are we talking about?
ang ating sinasabi is masyadong crowded yung ating curriculum, and then hindi natututukan yung mga basic yung foundation skills ng
Which
ating
are?
mga bata. Which are reading, numeracy, mathematics,
Yung
and so
mahihina
on.
tayo.
Yeah, oo. That is why in the
STEM,
revised curriculum, we are actually reducing the number of subjects for the kinder to grade 3.
Anong subject
Anong
kaya yung
subject?
mawawala?
Oo, ano?
Not really reducing the number of for one is the mother tongue.
Yes.
We are now shifting to the use of the mother tongue as a medium of instruction and no longer a
English?
separate subject.
Ah,
Mhm.
but what's the medium of instruction now?
In the
Isn't it-
K-3,
Yes.
based on the law, it's the mother tongue.
Mother tongue.
Yeah.
So mawawala yun?
No.
Ah.
Because we are offering in the old curriculum mother tongue as a separate subject,
Okay. So,
alongside using the mother tongue as a medium of instruction.
Pero there's also criticism of the use of mother tongue, di ba? Kasi nagkakagulo-gulo, it's a babel daw in some areas eh. Hindi daw malaman kung ano yung mother tongue, actually. Especially in highly urbanized areas.
In highly
na iba-iba.
urbanized schools kung saan diverse yung
Yes.
ating learners doon and they speak different mother tongue. Ang ginagamit natin dyan is the mother tongue that is most understandable by all
which is
of the
Filipino.
learners. Normally, in highly urbanized, like in Manila, it would be Filipino or Tagalog.
What's your assessment
Well,
of the mother, sige,
Oh,
mother tongue muna.
Mother tongue, we already passed a bill suspending the use of mother tongue as a mandatory use as a
Yes.
medium of instructions for 1 to 3. And what we're saying is that what you should use is the language that the learner is most familiar with. Meaning, if it's English, and that's the most effective way,
Yes.
let's use English. If it's Filipino, let's use Filipino. If it's mother tongue, let's use mother tongue. But I like what you said. Alam niyo, tama yung sinabi ninyo eh. Hindi lang naman sa Metro Manila.
Yes.
You go further to our provinces.
Baguio, even in
Yeah.
Baguio.
In Baguio, in fact, they're more familiar with English because they have so many
Yes.
dialects. We have 180.
Saka iba nga daw
Dialects.
iba nga daw yung
Yes.
Ilocano ng Baguio saka sa baba.
And we have 19 major languages
Yes.
that have not been alphabetized. So problema po 'yun. And again po they keep on saying, and again I'm saying the not DepEd now but the whole DepEd. They keep on saying that una-una they keep on citing this Monroe study that says that effective yung mother tongue. But the Monroe study was a 1925 report. At that point in time, hindi nga English pa nga dito sa atin eh.
Spanish.
Spanish po.
Yeah.
And then they cite other studies, I think one or two more, of very small, of a particular school in a that uses talagang yung IP na yun talaga yung mother tongue and effective doon, so let's use it there.
Yes.
But then no one has shown to us a study in a multi-language nation like the Philippines that mother tongue as mandatorily used is effective. Siyempre po effective yan sa Japan kasi
Yes.
Isa lang talaga
sa
ang
Korea
Yes.
lingwahe nila.
effective yan. And they have materials on it already. Dito po hindi nga tayo kompleto ng materials for the 19. So ang sinasabi natin, let us use the language that the learner is most familiar with. Wag na natin, let's give the teacher, the school, the flexibility kasi yung grades 1 to 3 yung pinaka-crucial Kaya nga tama po yung ginawa nila From 7 subjects, they will reduce it to 5. English, Filipino, mathematics,
Science.
no, not yet. The
Ah,
first
no
one will be
science.
CCAP,
SICAP.
and GMRC.
What is
Anong
SICAP?
natanggap?
Sic-
Anong
What is
natanggap?
SICAP?
SICAP is a combination of the
Civica.
Civica. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
They merge into one.
Araling Panlipunan
Araling
and
Panlipunan.
MAPE.
Yeah.
So,
So we are.
anong natanggal?
Wala. They merged it.
It's the
Minerge
mother
lang.
tongue as a subject.
Yeah, yun
Mother
lang, yun
tongue
lang
as a
ang nawala,
subject. And
yan.
we have GMRC.
Teka, who's to determine mother tongue? Kung kunyari,
nga
kasi kunyari, talk about Metro Manila, abay may mga bata na talagang English ang mother tongue. May mga
That's
batang Tagalog ang mother tongue. Merong mga bata na hindi, neither English nor, who's to determine that?
Meron tayong commission, di ba? Commission ng Wikang Filipino.
Wikang Filipino.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they do have the information and the data on the mother tongue in the Philippines. Yeah, meron yan. So, noong nilabas yung mother tongue as a subject, it's in close coordination with the commission. So, meron silang mga identified na national languages. Although tama yung sinasabi nyo na in several provinces, kahit pa na kunyari Ilocano, you mentioned Ilocano,
Iba-iba
there are
yung Ilocano.
several
Yun nga
varieties
Bicol,
of
iba-iba
Ilocano.
Bicol.
Yeah, right.
Visayan,
Oo.
iba-iba. Even Tagalog, actually.
Yeah.
Yung ginagamit ng komisyon ng wikang Pilipino, I'm not denigrating them in any way, pero that's
Iba.
formal Filipino.
Iba ang
Yeah.
Filipino.
Nababasa ko yan nung bata ako, nung panahon pa na may comics.
Kaya nga,
Pero ngayon,
technically,
hindi maintindihan ng mga
Oo,
bata
hindi
yung...
talaga.
kaya technically yung
yung
program
pisara
natin.
mo.
Yeah.
Tayo lang nakakaintindi nun. Walang makakaintindi nun. Ano yung pisara? Sige nga.
Kaya nga po. Kaya,
Pisara
pero ang
What's
point is,
Pisara?
hindi ko na...
Blackboard.
Oh, blackboard.
Oh,
Yun yung ginamit sa Ateneo, shame.
Oh.
Whiteboard ba sila nun?
English pa.
They only
Arneo,
have,
English.
they only have smart
Hindi
screens
ba?
in Ateneo.
Arneo, English.
No, but that's what.
Oh.
But isn't that going to create a divide between those who speak English well and English, whether you like it or not, is now more than ever the international language. I mean, you go online, it's English, right? So if we leave these people to, teach and learn in the mother tongue and forget English because that's not our mother tongue, aren't you leaving them behind?
Yeah, right. Pero technically sa department kasi it's not really like mother tongue alone. Yung program na yan, ang tawag
Sama-sama.
namin is mother tongue based multilingual education.
Kaya ang gulo-gulo.
So, yeah. Ay magulo. So, meron pa rin tayo diyan not exclusive to mother tongue. Parang in the law kasi naman hindi naman sinabi magturo ka ng subject na mother tongue.
Yes.
It simply says the mother tongue is the major language
Is the medium of
to be used,
instruction.
medium
Yes.
of instruction.
And that is
for
the
the
problem.
K-3.
Yan na nga eh.
That is
Diba,
exactly
isn't
the
there
problem.
any initiative to determine kung ano yung most prevalent na languages used in the Philippines at yun na lang gamitin ng lahat?
But ma'am, yung amin nga, use the
Di
one
ba?
that, again po, kasi naghalo
Kasi
na rin
ang
po talaga.
dami-dami nating dialect eh.
Opo, exactly.
Can't we just pick one dialect man lang or whatever? Is one dialect and then English?
What it was
Di ba pwede
during
yun?
our time. During
Oo.
our time, isa lang talaga, di ba?
Oo.
English. And then it became
Filipino.
not even Filipino.
Dalawa lang,
But
dalawa lang
Filipino.
ginagamit.
And now it's back to Filipino.
Filipino.
And now it's kanya-kanyang mother tongue. Nakakahilo, no? Parang we don't know.
Sa amin po,
where we're going.
we have made it clear, ang gusto po namin talaga ay hindi maging mandatory yung use ng mother tongue as a medium of instruction. But we also recognize the fact that there are IP schools that we have that it would be effective there. Kasi talagang
Yes.
yun yung
That's
so
true.
that we use
Yes.
it there. So,
Yes.
yun lang.
Okay,
Pwede
so
yun.
second
One
question.
size does not fit all.
Yes, I know. But
Talagang
now,
ganun.
second question
Yeah.
is, okay, you teach in your mother tongue, whatever that is. But how can you teach, say, math in that mother tongue? How can you teach science in that mother
No,
tongue.
kailangan mo mag-English.
May konting translation or it can't even be direct translation really, if there's even a direct translation.
When you do like it's not exclusively using the mother tongue as a medium of
Yeah.
instruction, because in some technical aspects of the subject you really need to use that word. So allowed naman na mag-code switch ka when you teach that. So
Okay.
hindi man yung strictly ganon, because the aim of the mother tongue is working on research findings na mas madaling makaintindi yung bata kapag ang ginamit ng pagturo sa kanya ay yung mother tongue niya.
Okay. So
And
okay.
then bridging him or her forward into a second language.
But then again, I just want to point this out. And siguro i-require namin sa committee meeting. Then give us that study. In a multi-language nation such as the Philippines, may study ba talaga yan? Because every study, wala pa na-produce sa amin eh.
Ayan
The
naman.
studies that have been given to us are dun sa mga bansa na isa lang talaga yung lingwahe nila. So madali. Dito po, ang nabigay lang, nakita ko lang, was a 1925 Monroe Report. A very focused survey on a particular school na talagang, yun talaga yung tinuturo doon, mother tongue. But what about the majority of schools, the majority of regions and provinces that talagang nag-mix na eh. Talagang may mobility talaga eh. So nag-iba-iba na. Some married people from the Visayas, umuro sila doon, teacher sila doon. Imagine they don't know the mother tongue doon, but you will be requiring them to teach in the mother tongue.
Pati nga yung teacher, nagre-reklamo.
That's a good point. Well, there's so much to talk about. We've done calendar so far. We've done mother tongue. There's still so much. We're not yet in content what we're teaching the kids. But right now we're taking a quick break. We will continue our discussion with Congressman Romulo and DepEd Aztec bring us. Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Chiefs. Still with us, Congressman Romulo, Chairman of House Committee on Basic Education and Culture, and DepEd Assistant Secretary Francis Bringas. We started with a discussion on the
The calendar.
transfer of the transfer of the school calendar back to the old. This is a problem arising from the pandemic, and another problem mentioned to us by education advocates. Ito daw mga bata natin, because of the lockdowns, they lost their soft skills, no? Including, very crucial, communication. Because of the lockdowns, because of remote learning. How is the education department addressing this problem?
Well,
Soft skills.
yeah, as you've said, dahil sa lockdown. So during the lockdown, walang social interaction ng mga learners natin with other children. So talagang nag-suffer yung kanilang social skills. That's why we pushed for the reopening of our schools for in-person classes, because we want to redeem them from
Yes,
that loss
that
of
was a good
social
move.
skills. So that is why we pushed for it. Wala kaming in-exempt na schools, and we even ordered 100% face-to-face, except for those with underlying circumstances due to weather or things like those. But we really pushed for the in-person
Pero as that was
classes.
still 2 years. I'm wondering lang
Yes.
how that problem, if at all, manifested. Yung lack of communication skills, if it manifested at all in any of your studies or any of your
It did,
numbers.
because during the opening of classes, when I visited some of the schools, yun talagang nagkakahiyaan yung mga bata, even the teachers. They didn't know how to
Really?
speak before the children.
Nakalimutan
Things like those.
na,
Yung mga parang na-shock sila.
Hindi naman
na
natatakot
after
ma-COVID.
2 years. Parang ganon. So
That's interesting,
even they were old friends, but when they saw each other for the first time after
Awkward
2 years,
bigla.
parang it's
Saka
an awkward
nakamask eh,
moment.
di ba?
So
Oo
it's
nga.
really evident, at least for the first 2 weeks. Yeah, it was very crucial during.
But in
that
terms of,
time.
for example, learning, in terms of absorbing material, did it manifest anyway?
Well, in my visit to the schools, I would say so, because they were so used to modules for 2 years, and then suddenly there is this physical interaction with a teacher in front of you. So parang
Yeah.
tulala kang ganyan, because it's
Yeah.
for 2 years. It's the very first time that you're hearing a person physically in front of you telling you this.
Tsaka hindi ka na
So
makapag-surf in
Yeah,
classes.
oo, parang it's like
Sa tapat mo na.
shocking for them for the first 2 weeks.
But you know, kids adjust very
They
quickly.
do. They do.
So
now
how-
I guess
yeah.
now they're back to normal.
Oo.
Diba? There
Right.
was a time na they were directed to maintain a certain distance from each other, and then many of them don't really do that because they really wanted to be close to each other. I mean,
In the
Yes.
meantime, Congressman, we're also now still in the we're still bottom dwellers when it comes to international tests that measure our kids'
Reading
Lumabas, ano?
comprehension.
competence, no, in reading comprehension, in math.
Science.
Yes. What are we doing to
First,
address that?
let's
Really
get it in proper context.
deteriorating.
The PISA exam, the SEA-PLM exam, the TIMS exam were all taken pre-pandemic. And we did not fare well in any of those exams. The pandemic may have exacerbated it, but let's not fool ourselves. Even before the pandemic,
Yeah.
there was a problem.
I
Because
agree.
we were last in all those exams.
Right.
And that is a reality. Now, moving forward, even during the last Congress, we have been pushing that we should refocus everything and go back to basics. Nung introduce yung K-12 na yan, they had more than 15,000 competencies required of a student sa K-12.
Wow.
Ang ginawa ni Secretary Briones during, before the lockdown, in fact, pinaaralan niya yan eh. Binawasan niya eh. Ginawa niyang 5,000 plus competencies. Pero sinabi natin, hindi yun yung susi eh.
Yeah.
Mali pa rin yun eh. Kulang yun eh. Ang kailangan, reduction of subjects. And that is why now, I fully support what they're doing for grades 1 to 3. Except for the mother tongue. Gusto ko talaga na tamang bawasan lang. Tama tayo, let's go back to basics.
Wait. Before you continue, when you say ang daming competencies, what do you mean exactly by that?
Ang ginawa nila sa K-12 that time, hindi yung subjects nila may mga points sila na gustong matutunan, objective sila. Yun yung competencies na kailangan makamit ng bata.
Kunyari marunong magbilang, ganon.
Iba-iba.
Parang
Iba-ibang
ganyan.
systems
So,
yung ginawa nila.
these are
But that was
competencies.
K-12.
Okay, so now we're
dictated.
measuring it. What we're doing is we're counting subjects instead of
That is better.
competencies. Parang
No, the
ganon.
competencies are still there, but the subjects should be reduced. Bakit po? Yung PISA exam, first of all, I don't agree with the results. Pero, there was something good out of the PISA exam. I think we were able to take a look at the different countries that took that exam, and one thing that came out of that, the Philippines has the most number of hours required of any student of all that took that PISA exam. And tayo pa rin yung mababa. Ibig sabihin, hindi kailangan na babarin natin ang bata sa paaralan. What we have to do is to focus on the basics. Reading, and mathematics. So tama ngayon eh. Yung from 7, binaba nila to 5, it's going to be focused on reading comprehension and mathematics, and GMRC is very important. And then magi-increase lang sila, may science silang ma-add
Third year,
eventually.
grade 3.
Pero, ang sabi nga ng World Bank report, di ba? Although, again, it's an estimate lang.
Yeah.
Yung learning loss na estimate nila because of the pandemic, wala naman study. It's just an estimate. 90% raw ng ating students, wala raw reading comprehension. So, ang sinasabi nila, let's make that as our objective. By 10 years old, dapat marunong magbasa at naintindihan ng binabasa at may basic math. And that is exactly what will happen if we fix 1 to 3. Focus lang tayo, reading comprehension, marunong magbasa at naintindihan in mathematics. The Filipino child will exponentially grow. Kasi he or she by herself, kung anong interest niya, babasahin niya eh. And that was the problem during the pandemic. PISA was before that. So nakita natin, reading comprehension slow. Tapos modules tayo.
Pero sir,
Paano mo
yun ang problema.
makakomprehend kung
Exactly.
yung language nga
pero sir,
hindi maintindihan?
yes,
saan ang problema dun sa reading comprehension? Are you saying it's simply too crowded? There's so much to learn that they don't devote enough time to reading comprehension? Or is it also the man of teaching reading comprehension?
Tingin ko masyadong maraming subjects ang nilagay natin, ang pinipilit natin sa isang estudyante sa DepEd schools natin at an early age and throughout. And again, the PISA exam would show it. I mean, if you look at all the countries that took the PISA exam, the Philippines was the top ata in terms of number of hours spent in school. So makikita natin, hindi kailangan ng ganong kahabang oras sa school. Secondly, alam mo yung mga bata nga, sa totoo lang, again, this is really a fact naman eh. Parang nawala yung love of learning eh. parang ayaw na nga nila pumasok eh. Kasi burdened na sila sa dami ng pag-aaralan
Hindi
doon.
nga maintindihan
Hindi
kasi.
maintindihan. Tapos pag uwi nila, may homework pa.
Totoo.
So-
And anecdotally, when our kids go to the States or to other foreign countries, they find the curriculum so easy to handle. Parang lagi maulit-ulit yan na mas nag-o-honor student dito, mas sumipag dito. So yeah, there must be some wisdom.
Pero tama yun eh, yung ginawa
Just
nila yung
going
sa
back
1 to 3. Tama yun eh. And I hope, pero narinig ko sa'yo, Asik, sabi mo, it will be gradual. Pero sa 1 to 3, sana, bawasan na natin. Let's focus on reading comprehension, mathematics, GMRC.
Yes.
Alam mo, yung bata will, on his or her
Absorb
own,
it all,
yes,
yeah.
they will
Tsaka
learn how to
there's
read and
nothing
comprehend.
like self-driven learning,
Yes,
diba?
right, right.
Parang when they begin to comprehend what they
Yes.
read, they begin to get interested
Yes.
in more and more subjects, and they'll do it on their own.
On their own, yes.
Diba?
Huwag na natin masyadong pahirapan para excited din sila pumasok.
Yeah, we are listening, no? That's why we are revising the K-10, no? So we actually listen to the sentiments of the parents, other stakeholders. So we went into reduction really of the subjects and then focus more on reading and mathematics. So the time that we're freed from those subjects that we clumped together will be devoted to reading and mathematics.
So that's from grade 1 to 3. But
Yes.
what about the grade 4 onwards, no? Na right now, dyan nga sila nga yung mga tinitest na, Diyos ko, hirap na hirap.
Yung 10-year-olds.
What do we do with
Walang
them?
comprehension
Those
po
who
eh.
are now past 3rd grade,
Yes.
those who are now in 7th grade, and the reading skills remain to be 3rd grade levels. What do we do with them?
Yeah, that's why we are having the National Reading Program and the National Mathematics Program to address this. So I hope that it is going to be successful, no?
What is that exactly?
It's a national reading program that will focus on reading skills, improving reading skills, as well as improving the competencies of teachers in teaching reading. Kasi now we are
Yes.
working on a direction na kailangan pag primary or elementary school teacher ka, you should also be a reading teacher.
Yeah.
Hindi lang yung mga kinder grade 1 teachers ang marunong sa pagtuturo ng reading, pero kailangan lahat marunong magturo.
How do you encourage reading? Halimbawa, ang kakompetensya mo dyan, TikTok eh,
Oh,
YouTube.
exactly. No,
Paano
really.
yun? Hindi,
Yeah.
feeling
It's so
nila,
challenging now to get
wait, I don't
students
need to
read.
learn to read eh, kasi nakikita ko na sa video lahat.
It's
Yeah,
even challenging to
How do
get
you
reporters to read.
How do you
That's
teach
true.
that?
I didn't want to
How do
say
you
that,
encourage
but
Yeah,
reading?
you know, if you are a creative teacher, you don't look at TikTok and the other platforms as a competition, but rather convert it into an education tool that will help further the reading skills of learners. So it's all about how you're going to manage this technology so that they become education technology tools.
Pero
rather
dagdag
than
na problem siya, di
competitions.
ba?
Yeah.
In terms of grammar, spelling, tignan nyo lahat siyang nasa online na yan. It's a disaster na if you're a grammar
Pero
teacher.
ma'am, yan, ang technology, technology will cut both ways. Ang
Yes.
naging
Yan
problema
na nga,
po
yun
sa
na.
atin,
Oo.
ang naging problema sa atin, because nga yung reading comprehension was not there, talagang ang computers there, pinakamadali, magi-games tayo,
Yes.
TikTok. But ako, mabilif ko sa Pinoy, pag marunong reading comprehension, if we had really taught them well, they on their own, kaya nga tayo may marites rin eh. Curious rin
Magkaka-interest
tayo eh. They will read, they will start the readings. Ang problema,
How do you get them interested in the
but
first
comprehension
place?
is the most important.
Diba?
Kung hindi ma-fix yung comprehension, paano natin ma-i-interest sila? That's why yun talaga yung susi. Yung reading, yung comprehension sa 1, 2, 3. Pag marunong magbasa at naiintindihan, I am sure the interest of the Filipino child will be there.
And the
Okay,
language
second.
used,
Yes.
di ba?
Again.
Yes, that was what I was going to ask. Comprehension. But how many books are there really in the mother tongues? How many books are there that are available?
In the-
Di ba, parang ang pinakamarami pa rin English language books. I mean, books in English.
Okay, we
So-
do have textbooks in K to
In
3
mother tongue.
that are written in mother tongue. Yeah,
So what are
yung-
those sa Filipino?
We have
Bicolano,
Marami.
ganyan.
Bicolano, mga
Kompleto
ganyan.
yan talaga?
Yes, in
the basics.
In the basic
Yes.
primary grades.
But
kinder to
in
grade
reading
3.
kasi, you're talking literature, di ba?
Mhm.
I mean, hindi lang to balarila, panitikan to, di ba? So parang what kind of stories are they reading? Because that's essentially what will spur imagination
Ma'am
and
Lucci,
innovation.
correct me if I'm wrong. To teach reading and comprehension, phonetics ang importante doon. Meaning talagang, how sure are we na, sabi niyo, 180 dialects, 19 major. The challenge for the teacher, magtuturo ka ng reading, phonetics yun eh. How it is pronounced, each word each letter is pronounced, each word. Ang hirap nun, sa dami nun eh. Well, again, but maybe you would know best. But sana, you also take a look at the other side.
Yeah, we will. We will definitely look at that, no? And then we are very receptive naman to comments like this. That's why we are always consolidating all these comments, and then we input them into the current provisions that we
May isa
are
pang gustong trust si President Marcos, which he enunciated in his inaugural address. Gusto daw niyang emphasis on English. How is that push coming out?
I know that he made in the SONA, I think, na mag-shift tayo to bilingual education, and we are going towards that direction. Kaya the first step, of course, is to alis na yung ating mother tongue as a subject, and then just do mother tongue as a medium of instruction, as an option of a medium of instruction, because if they do understand Tagalog, then we can use Tagalog, or English if they can understand English. So
Pero yung push for
and then
English, ano yun? Akala ko madadagdagan yung effort along that line.
Yeah, we have in the higher grades, of course, kasi yung sa ating K to 3 yan yung foundation stage, yeah, they have to learn how to understand things. So pagdating na sa higher grades, intermediate up to senior high school, English and Filipino na lang talaga yung medium natin dyan. Wala na siyang mother tongue na medium. Starting grade 4.
Pero yung comprehension is grade 1 to 3.
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
That's the...
At in fact, maraming nagda-drop out by 3rd and 4th grade dahil hindi nga daw maintindihan yung kanilang lessons.
Have we addressed the dropout rate pala? Yes, the attrition rate. Because it used to be that, if I remember right, the numbers were parang something like 14 out of, may statistics sila dyan eh, 14 out of 100.
We do have several factors that
by-
would affect why a certain student would leave school, no? So hindi isang solution kasi yan. But yung isang dropout reduction na program, not only of the department but interagency, is yung school-based feeding program, because it has been established that in the past, maraming mga bata ang hindi na pumapasok dahil hindi naman makakain. Instead na magtrabaho, na pumasok, maghanap na lang ng pagkain. That's why the government came up with the school-based feeding program, which has significantly reduced and increased our participation rate and reduced the dropout or school leavers rate. So
and yung
those,
4Ps,
yeah,
how has that helped?
4Ps.
Kasi di ba, isa yun sa mga incentives nila para
isa
to make
sa
sure
mga
that they
isa
send
sa
their
mga
kids to
criteria for a
school.
4Ps recipient is kailangan yung anak mo nasa
Nag-aaral,
school.
right.
Nasa school.
Right.
Kaya meron kaming mga focal persons for 4Ps in the schools, usually the school head, that monitors and reports the attendance of the children of 4Ps recipients. Kasi once na mawala yung bata dyan, maalis din sila sa 4Ps na listahan.
I get all the emphasis on reading comprehension, but also I suppose it's also learning how to learn. Kumbaga nagsisimula sa libog eh.
Yeah.
Well, forgive the word, pero
Ito talaga, pinapahirapan mo yung editor mag-blow nga.
hindi naman kailangan edit yun eh. You know, it's the passion to go out and ako, for example, I didn't learn that much in college. It was learning how to learn in
Exactly.
college.
Actually,
because
we are looking to that because we want them to love learning.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
To love learning. Kasi
And
nangyayari
reading.
ngayon, if you're just
Make
too
it a fun
academic, if you're just too
experience.
academic in everything, they will forget that learning is fun and they will
Yeah.
never love learning.
right.
So we are also balancing that with the passion of the learners to really love and be happy while learning.
Right.
So we want to give them like while they learn and they enjoy their childhood
Yes.
at the same time.
Kaya
Congressman
kailangan ibalik
Romulo,
na yung sa
Yeah.
summer. Para mag-enjoy.
Oo nga naman.
nag-full circle eh.
Para mag-enjoy.
Segue talaga si
But Congressman Romulo, if there were, let's just say, one thing that really needs to be done urgently in order to just start off this
It's really
improvement in
reduction
our...
of subject. Grades 1 to 3 na lang tayo mag-focus. Reduce the number of subjects. Reading comprehension lang tayo. Mathematics, GMRC. Kasi pag ganun, half day na lang tayo eh. Again, in the afternoon, you can do other activities for the child. Importante, lahat ito, parang excited siya pumasok. Sabay natututo siya eh. Because Filipino, kaya nga tayo may marites talaga po eh. Kasi naturally, curious tayo. Gusto nga natin, alam natin kung ano nangyayari. At ang problema, kung hindi natin sila binigyan ng tool, paano magbasa at naintindihan ng binabasa, magti-TikTok na lang. Kasi yun, you don't read comprehension, you will play games. And that is the negative side of the technology. Pero kung doon lang tayo sa reading comprehension, talagang I'm sure they will use technology to their advantage. Pag-usapan nga, di ba nga, next week may hearing na kami on K-10 plus 2 and K-12. Sabi ko nga, as long as we fix K-3, baka these things won't matter eh, because the Filipino child will be the one to teach himself, herself eh, kung marunong lang siya nung reading comprehension.
Okay, wonderful discussion today, but unfortunately, we're already out of time. Maraming salamat, Asik Bringas and Congressman Romulo. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having us.
And that's it for the Chiefs. I'm Edwin Gao.
We hope what was discussed here will keep the conversation going. I'm Ami Pamintuan.
And I'm Lucy Cruz Valdez. We are One News, all sides, all the time.